Hello there. This is Volunteer Boys from Connect to Soul with a little croaky in my throat. Well, another week has gone by and I am just a little bit late at doing this. I'm a day late in actual fact, so whenever you're watching this, it's just usually I'm putting this on a day later than I usually do. Because I have just had a wonderful weekend away with some very, very dear old friends. Old friendships are very precious. These friendships are over 50 years old. Oh, and the cards are talking already. And so I decided that took a priority. So let's get right into it today. As usual, all the links to the work that I do and the spiritual book club, the retreats, and look, yeah, I can't really think very much this morning. I think maybe I have Mondayitis, which I don't usually suffer from. But you'll find all the links below. And if you want to contact me, my email address is there, and Facebook, and all of those things. So let's get going. I just want to see what card fell out. Yeah, I don't think that's really what I wanted to. I'm going to put that back. I wasn't ready or connected, so I'm not going to use that one. I now really want to be connected, and I want some prosperity. As always, I'm using these lovely cards of Esther Hicks, Money and the Law of Attraction. And we've had quite a week. We've had the Inspired Manifestation Masterclass graduates last Thursday night, and that was really very powerful. There are times that, you know, we do work on ourselves, and it's not necessarily comfortable. But that doesn't mean that it's not valuable. In fact, probably the most uncomfortable things are, the more valuable they are. So let's see. I'm ready now. I'm ready now for something to flip out. Thank you. Let's have it. Okay. Thank you. Okay. Well, it's not that much difference to the one we talked about last week, really. Although there's a bit different slant, but it certainly is related to what we talked about at that graduate masterclass last week. Let's have a look at it. Okay, as you can see, it says, rather than complaining, I will focus on positive aspects. Wow, that wasn't bad, reading that upside down, inside out, and reflected as in mirror image. But that's what it says. Rather than complaining, I will focus on positive aspects. I guess it's something that I've always learned to do throughout my life. Positive aspects for me are much more attractive than the negative or the fearful. I've been an eternal optimist my whole life, and that is something that saw me through the most difficult times of my life, to look for the light, always looking for the light. So it says here, when you focus upon lack in an attitude of complaining, and that is to do with anything in your life, you know, if it's lack of friendship, lack of, I think we discussed that last week, you know, any kind of lack of wisdom. You go to school, right? We are living in such a prolific environment in most areas now that, you know, that we have education is at our fingertips at the end of a button. So whatever we want to learn, we can add to our life. Whatever we want, we are so multifaceted. We can turn our hand at anything. We really can we can make things. We don't need to live in lack. There's always something within us that wants to be expressed. So when you focus upon lack in an attitude of complaining, you establish a vibrational point of attraction that only gives you access to more sorts of complaint. I guess it brings me back a little bit to last Thursday night because during the graduate class we were doing an exercise. And look, it was confronting for some people to really look, where have my dominant thoughts been, and one of the things that I usually ask is, why do you keep thinking them? Because if they're dominant, you're thinking them over and over again. And then I ask, well, what is the payoff? Because whatever we do, it has a payoff of some sort. And that's often very confronting. But the fact is that while you keep doing it, you cannot get out of what you're complaining about. You have to leave the complaint to get somewhere else. Your deliberate effort to tell a new story will establish a new pattern of thought, providing you with a new point of attraction from your present about your past and into your future. The simple effort of looking for positive aspects will set a new vibrational tone that will begin the immediate attraction of thoughts, people, circumstances, and things that are pleasing to you. You know, it is so wonderful when you hear this and you hear it time and time again. And this idea of, we sometimes feel sorry for ourselves and we think, well, but we don't feel well. I can tell you that my health has not been very well for almost just over a month now, that I've really been battling a little bit. But I have to say that, I do find myself, when your body's uncomfortable, it's very demanding. It's constantly telling you it's not comfortable. So it's very difficult to get your thoughts somewhere else. But for me, that is the very time that I have to force my thoughts to go somewhere else because I don't want to stay there. And that isn't always, easy to do. I remember being in a state of crisis in my life, and I just went around and around and around and around, same story, around and around and around and around, until one day I was able to break the story and I was able to move on. And that's really what's important, because the story that you've got to start writing or start repeating is the story of what you want, not what you don't want. So you don't repeat the story of what you don't have, you repeat a story of what you'd like to have, as if it's already there, and that opens the door for it to be able to come and visit you. So that is how the law of attraction works, right? So you have to make a deliberate effort. It's not easy. It really isn't easy. It is simple, but you do have to make a concerted effort. You have to make a decision and go, you know what, this is not good enough for me. I'm letting myself down by repeating this same old story of complaint about what I don't have. And, there are lots and lots of people who will say to you straight away, yeah, but you've got to get real. This is the reality. Yeah, but it's a reality that I've created. And it's a reality I don't particularly want to keep creating. So I need to start making some concerted effort to start writing a new story, repeating a new story, and believing in a new story. So that's really what this card is all about, and it's very, very powerful. And I'd like you to just think about your life for a moment and think, well, where in your life is something not working, and what kind of a story are you running about it? And if the story and what you're experiencing, which I feel is going to be what you're going to find, are aligned or resonate, then you know what to do. Until you change the story, you're just going to keep repeating it and repeating it, and you keep attracting the same old. So change of story creates change of experience. Oh, I like that. I'm going to say that again. Change of story creates change of experience. Nice one. And if you can remember that, then automatically you can have whatever it is that you desire, because you can make up any story you want. True? Oh, it's so good when I think of the choices we have. The simple effort of looking for positive aspects will set a new vibrational tone. So you've got to find a story that's going to set a new vibrational tone that will begin the immediate attraction of thoughts and feelings and people and circumstances and things that are pleasing to you and are aligned with the new story or that which you desire. It's a very powerful card. Why is it whenever I do this, have you ever been, whenever you do something and your nose gets itchy, and often it is when you can't itch it, it's really silly. What is that about noses? Maybe we do some research about that, or maybe that's just a story, you think. Well, anyhow, I do apologize if you see me every now and then just having a little tickle on my nose because it starts to tell me it's on my face. So therefore, rather than complaining, I will focus on positive aspects instead. So wherever in your life that you are complaining, stop and look if you can find a different perspective, a different way of interpreting what you're looking at. Decide to look at it through different eyes and bring in a vibrational frequency that you would much rather experience than what you have today. I find that a lot with people. If you have an opinion about somebody or you've judged somebody, and it doesn't feel good. Anyway, judging never feels good. So let's say you've judged someone for something they've done, and as a result you've kind of wiped them and gone, now I don't, that person is not a friend anymore because they did X, Y, and Z. And for me, I always think, well, when in your life did you not sometimes zig or zag when, or zig when you should have zagged? And does it make you a bad person? Or does it just mean that at that moment you might have been a little thoughtless, a little encumbered, not feeling the best, feeling, under pressure or stress, or feeling unloved, or whatever feeling you have? And if we then don't have a big enough heart to forgive that and to keep looking at that person the way that we would like them to be, with love and with respect, then we often lose people in our lives that actually were very valuable. And I think that's often sad, or we do when we get trapped into that kind of thing. But as we're talking about prosperity, let's relate this to money. The whole thing about this prosperity idea is that prosperity is all around and abound, and so when we don't have it actually in our lives, it is not because there isn't any prosperity, it's because we just aren't where it is. And then we just need to look at, well, how can we change our vibrational frequency so that we are more attractive to abundance and prosperity? And often it is to do with our self-image. Maybe we don't feel we deserve it, we haven't worked hard enough, as if that's necessary anyway. We have all sorts of preconceived notions that have been imprinted on our psyche from other people and our culture, etc. So examine in your life where money is concerned how actually the positive aspects are, how much you love being prosperous, how fantastic. I find it interesting when I go out with my friends that I've just spent the weekend with, and it is interesting to me because we're all at very different states of financial abundance, right? I mean, none of us are poor, but some have more than others. And I love observing how the ones that that don't have as much, how they respond to the ones that have more. And for me, it's always very interesting to observe people to see how open they are to receive. Because if you're constantly worried about not, somebody else giving you gifts, and then you feel as if you must pay that back, I think we pay it back all the time, but it doesn't have to be through money. It is through love and support and being there for people. It doesn't always have to be through money or through gifts, for that matter. You know, you have a look at how you accept a gift. Do you go, oh no, you shouldn't have, or do you go, oh gosh, I really appreciate that, thank you. If you're not open to receive, then I think you're always making the giver feel awkward. And when you give because it makes you feel good. So if you then don't receive, you take away that feel good from the person that's giving to you. So giving and receiving are two sides of exactly the same coin. And if you can give with as much joy as you can receive, and you can receive it with as much joy as you can give, then you're balanced. Then your whole prosperity thing is balanced, and you'll always be okay. So there you go. Rather than complaining, I will focus on positive aspects. And that is something to think about this week. And this is the week of November the 27th. Oh my dear. Driving yesterday, I was driving down the beach road, as we call it, which is a beautiful road that goes along our bay, and already there are people there that have Christmas lights on, and it's like we're trying to speed things up, and I just keep going, there's another month to go, can we just slow it down? Never happens. So let's have a quick look now at some soul wisdom to go with this. Well, let's have a look at the keepers of the light, and how about you guys really give us something beautiful, not that you don't, but something very, very appropriate to go with this. Right, okay. Well, she flipped out. Very nice too. Mary Magdalene, teacher awakens. You have something important to share. Follow the inner call. Don't let anything stop you. You know that she's been coming up for me now. I the other day, she's been coming. Oh, sorry for the reflection. She's been coming up for me a few times. Teacher awakens. So I guess for me, what that says is, that is what I do. I do, all of my work is about awakening people to who they really are and how special they are and how amazing. Do just imagine, we just don't realize how amazing this human being is. We mess it about so much. We need to spend much more time in here and learning about who we are and how we work. It's the only reason I ever started doing this work was because I wanted to know how this worked. I knew how to read instructions for almost anything, but we had no instructions for this, and I needed to know how to work it better, because whatever was happening to me in my life in that crisis was not something I ever wanted to repeat again. So I wanted to know, how did I get here and how could I avoid ever getting here again? And that's how my journey started to heal me from that trap. So the awakening of me to me was quite impressive, I think. It was also pretty difficult time, but I'm so grateful for it today. You have something important to share. Each and every one of us has something important to share. Within us is the life force, a spark of this whole, field of consciousness that has come into this human experience for expansion and for joy, and it's brought a specific vibrational frequency which is aligned with a gift that's unique to you. And if you don't use that gift, whatever that is, you can be a cook, you can be You know, the best house cleaner in the world. I've got a beautiful lady that comes once a fortnight and cleans my house. I think she's wonderful. House cleaning is not something I'm terribly excited about. She loves it. Why not? She's doing such good work. Now, it could be that you are sweeping the streets, and how wonderful is that? Because you're keeping things beautiful for other people. So you've got to follow your inner calling. And again, that's something that I was talking about on Thursday night. Once upon a time, these days we talk about what's my purpose. Well, I think our purpose is just to live to the best of our ability. But our purpose, it's all about doing. That word purpose has really only been a recent thing. In my days, when we were looking at what we were going to do with our lives, we looked for vocation. And when I asked people, at my class the other night, what vocation means, and they just didn't even know the word. Vocation, but that is a calling. That is your calling. And a calling is something that's deep from within you, and it's calling you forward to paint, to dance, to play sport, to sing, to do gardening, to cook, whatever, to tinker with cars, to fiddle with computers, whatever. There's a calling in you that wants to do these things. And if you're good at it, that means that you've brought the talent with you. So all you have to do is skill up and get better at it. And then you can fly. And every individual has a spark of something in there. Don't let anything stop you. Find that spark in you. That what are you attracted to? What makes you hum? That's where you need to be. That's where you need to be. Just do it. The rest will fall into place. For me, this work, no matter how uncomfortable I could be physically when I do this work, it just happens. Flies. It's like another energy takes over. Just like today. So I really wish for you that you will put a positive spin on all of your life, that you will find deep within you that part of you that needs to be awakened, and you set it free. So on November the 27th, 2017, I wish you a beautiful week, a beautiful life. And when I speak to you next, it will be the first week of December. We are quickly coming to the end of another fabulous year. And I just want to remind you, if you want to sign up for the Inspirational Masterclass on the 31st of January, please let me know, because I do need to have numbers. If you want to join us for the Achievement Plan Workshop on the 1st of January, then also contact me and let me know, because we need to know for catering purposes. And for those of you who are local and part of the community, there will be on the 4th of December an end of year and a Kris Kringle Christmas breakup. So lots of things happening, and I shall see you at in a week's time. And in the meantime, be kind to you and love yourself more. You're worth it. Truly. You are everything to you. Don't forget that. Namaste. I love you. Love yourself more.